Cleopatra VII was not remembered for conquering Rome, but for outthinking it. Her crown carried power, her mind carried precision. She ruled for 22 years from 51 to 30 BCE, a reign longer than the kingdom's instability should ever have allowed. She inherited a kingdom strained by debt, dynastic fracture, and the accelerating dominance of Rome. Rome did not seek Egypt's destruction. But empires do not pause for kingdoms that fail to adapt. Those that hesitated were absorbed regardless of intent. Egypt had to outmaneuver or be outlasted. Cleopatra was shaped inside Alexandria's royal intellectual culture, a court built on politics, philosophy, rhetoric, and relentless debate. The Mausion continued to operate in her lifetime, influential though long past its early peak, sustaining a city defined by scholarship, diplomacy, and critical inquiry. In Alexandria, discourse was not indulgence. It was discipline, tied to diplomacy, legitimacy, and survival. Her strategic instincts were forged here, long before Rome became her battlefield. Her decisions reveal one constant truth: knowledge without scrutiny is decoration, and decoration cannot steer a kingdom through crisis. So she scrutinized everything. Greek was the language of her court and administration. Egyptian she used to strengthen legitimacy, a deliberate break from earlier Ptolemaic distance from the populace. Latin she reserved for diplomacy alone. Claims that she spoke several additional languages come largely from later Greco-Roman historians. Valuable testimony, but not supported by contemporary Egyptian records. To Cleopatra, languages were instruments. Meaning had to survive negotiation, because mistranslation could fracture alliance, and alliances were Egypt's lifeline. Where Rome reshaped the Mediterranean through military scale, Cleopatra reshaped Egypt through strategy, treaty, economy, and institutional credibility. She reinforced currency through calibrated coinage. She reinforced legitimacy through religious diplomacy, politically supporting temples rather than reinventing them in stone. She secured alliances through linguistic precision, not myth, but the architecture of power, not theater, but decisions that endured. When dynastic conflict with her brother escalated into civil war, she rebuilt authority through calculated geopolitical alignment, first with Julius Caesar, later with Mark Antony. These were strategic decisions, not romantic diversions, engineered to preserve Egypt's autonomy as Rome consolidated power around it. Actium 31 BCE. The collision point. She lost militarily. But Egypt had already won more time politically than instability predicted it ever could. Egypt fell a year later, carried forward by Rome's unstoppable momentum, not by any absence of leadership. She did not conquer Rome. She ensured Egypt endured long enough for its sovereignty to matter. Her legacy was not romance, but adaptive, analytical leadership under existential pressure. She teaches us this: alliances collapse without precision of language. Power is not credible unless it survives scrutiny. And clarity is not fragile. It is unshakable. She did not take an empire. She preserved a kingdom long enough to shape one. And that is why her mind still commands ours, because her reasoning was impossible for history to overlook.